Hey guys, it's Cassie. So I wanted to take a brief moment. I know there's been a lot of people trying to figure out a system for themselves that's going to work. And I wanted to show you something that worked for me that was free before I switched over to Teamsy. And I switched over to Teamsy for a couple different reasons, and I'll explain that at the end. But I want to show you the system that I created that worked for me, that was totally free, using Evernote and Google. So it's really simple. It's one of those things that when you're working at Power Hour, you want simplicity, you want something that's going to encourage you to use it. You really want to stay with something that isn't cumbersome and complicated. Teamsy is not for everyone, believe me. It can actually slow down some things, I've noticed, but I want you to find what works for you, and that's going to be different for everybody. And this is just one suggestion that I wanted to show you guys of what I did. So I created a daily task list. It was different for each day. So I had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, take Saturdays off, task list of things that I had to do in the business. So you can see my Friday task list. I have invite 5 people to challenge group, invite 2 people to business opportunity, add 2 to 5 people to my contacts, follow up with messages. You can see in here, I also have in all caps, all hands on deck, because that is my major follow-up. I have to get all of my follow-up done on Friday. My goal is to be at 0 follow-up heading into my day off, basically. Read or listen to my personal development. 3 to 5 social media posts loaded for the next day. Check on my challenge groups, drink my Shakeology, workout, and then the last one is recognition. So you can see I have the 4 vital behaviors in there. I also have what you can see highlighted here is my follow-up sheet. So basically, each one of my days looks a little bit different because there's certain things I want to call out and really pay attention to on those days. So like on follow-up on Wednesdays is when I want to follow up with my business opportunity people, because they've typically watched or attended one of the Blitz events on Tuesday. So Wednesday is my big follow-up for that. So that's where I make my focus on for that day, okay? So let's say I'm just working my Power Hour and I'm going to get started. For me, I did have it ordered by things that I like to do the least, which for me, the hardest thing for me for the longest time was adding 2 to 5 people to my contacts. I have a system now that works really well for me, and it's no longer a big deal. So my top priority is actually changed to inviting people to my challenge groups. So what I'm going to show you guys is exactly how I would work this. So I start with Facebook because that's where everybody's at for me, right? So I'm going to go over here to Facebook, and I am actually going to, don't even look at newsfeed or anything like that, right? That's just pure distraction. We don't want that, okay? What I'm going to do is go over here to the chat bar, right? And I am going to open up. So if we go back and we look at my work list, I'm going to invite 5 people. So I'm going to open up 5 conversations with 5 people that are currently on Facebook, okay? So I want to do that because I don't want these conversations to sit in somebody's Facebook mailbox or message box or whatever we want to call it and get ignored. I know that they are active and green right now. And of course, you can see I have awesome internet, so it just like cut out. I know that they're on Facebook currently. So I go and I hit command, and I'm going to open up all of, 5 different chats. And then I'm going to go through and I am literally just going to message them an invitation. Now, before I even message them the invitation, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to make sure I have my follow-up sheet open, which is, like I said, this is where Google comes into play. And I am going to put their names right here. I'm going to put the link to their Facebook or to their email if I also have that. So I'm just going to go and scroll over their name, copy and paste, put that link right here. And then I'm going to put in here, so I'm going to know the follow-up details. So the first follow-up needs to occur on, and if there was anything in the conversation, I'm going to fill this, I have it set up so I can type 1,000 different things in here, and I'm just going to fill that up, okay? So what I'm going to do then is at the end of, basically these 5 conversations are going to keep going as I'm talking to them. I'm going to let them know, hey, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. So then what I'm going to do is I have my Google Calendar open, and I always have an event open, and I'm going to say, I'm going to follow up with Tammy. Tammy was one of them I think that popped up. I tag all of my invites for challenge groups yellow, so I color code it, and I'm going to put in 2 days, or in 1 day, I'm going to follow up with her. So, today being the 18th, I'm going to follow up on the 19th, and I'm going to put this as an all-day event. The reason I'm going to do that is because then on my calendar, let's go back over here. Oops, cancel. It's going to show up as an all-day event. I'm in the wrong. So it's going to show up as an all-day event right at the top of my calendar, okay? So then when I go in on Saturday, if I have any follow-ups, the only thing I do on Saturday is follow-ups, just so you guys know. I don't do I don't do a power hour outside of that. I just do follow-ups from the previous day. So all of those show up right there, and that's kind of my work list. Then I just start at the top. When I get to follow-ups, say in my power hour, say I've got, I'm doing power hour on Thursday, that's where I go for my follow-ups, okay? So that, and then I would, once I got those 5 invites out, I would check that off. Same thing I would do. And so like I said, I color code stuff just to make it easy. So I would color code this one. I would fill in this as a yellow because that person was to a challenge group. My color coding for my business opportunity was a blue, fill it with blue. So I can kind of see where they're progressing. Now, after I follow up with that person on Saturday, I'm going to put right in here what the conversation was all about, where we're headed next. When do I need to follow up with them again? I like to, at this point, really try and get it over to email as well because it's easier for me to track and save those in different files and emails. So, but you really don't have to. You can do this all on Facebook as long as you have a system in place to make sure you're doing that. Okay. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, like I said, I have all of that in my calendar. I can go to all of my follow-up and do that. Same thing. I listen or I read my personal development. I would encourage you guys to create some kind of a notebook, a file, whatever it is for keeping notes, especially if you listen to your personal development. I listen to my personal development typically 75% of the time when I go for a walk. And what I do is I just take, as soon as I'm done with my walk, I sit in the car and I just do a quick audio, this is the big takeaways. You can write a note, whatever you want to do, okay? Then the next thing I do is, you can see I go to my 3 to 5 social media posts. So if I'm posting for my like page, you can load that right in your like page now. You don't have to use a third-party server. Or if I'm going to be posting to my personal page, I have, that set up. So I can use, I've used Post Planner myself for that. But just so you know and you have it ready to go. Because then I don't have to worry about that for the next day. It's just something off my plate throughout the day, which is really important to me because I work just very specific hours. Like I have a very limited amount of time that I work. So my attention needs to be super focused, laser focused, okay? Then I'm going to check on my challenge groups. I'm going to go to my challenge tracker or the portal. I'm going to use that. There are certain days that I do this a little differently. So and I haven't used this checklist in a little bit, so I don't know if it's up to date. I apologize. Okay, yeah. So on Monday, I send out personal messages to all of my challenge group participants. This is going to be via text, via a voice message on Facebook, or through the challenge tracker. Just hey, I'm thinking about you, want to check in. And I send a personalized one to every single person, okay? The other thing that I do is on Thursday nights, we have a live Zoom check-in for the groups. So they're able to, get on there. We just chat. Sometimes I get one person, sometimes I get 5 people. It just kind of varies. And then, these ones, I drink my Shakeology, do my workout, and do my recognition. Those are kind of just habit now. But working this list created those habits, okay? So this is how the system that I created, totally free, didn't have to pay for anything, and it works really well. You can take Evernote on your phone, or on an iPad or a tablet. So it's really easy to work. It's very mobile. I primarily work from my laptop, so everything was on my laptop. But Google Sheets, Evernote, Google Calendar, all something that you can get on any device. So I encourage you guys, just if you don't have a system, you have to get a system. You have to have something in place that's going to make sure somebody doesn't fall through the cracks. Because believe me, having done this where I just relied on Facebook Messenger is terrible. Just recently, I had all of my messages from a certain point back disappear. Okay, they're gone. They're no longer there. They're just off in Facebook oblivion. And I was shut out of Messenger for almost 3 entire weeks. So I couldn't send any messages via Facebook Messenger for 3 weeks. It wasn't full Facebook jail. It was just I couldn't send any messages. People could send me some, which was terrible because I could look at them and then it looked like I wasn't responding. It was driving me nuts. But that is another important reason why I really like to get, the email, because Gmail isn't going to cut me off anytime soon that I know. So, you never know what is going to happen on Facebook. If it disappears tomorrow, you need to have a system in place so you can reach out to people. Okay. So I encourage you guys, please do something if you don't have it already. This is just one way to do it that was really easy for me. And like I said, I moved over to Teamsy, and I did the free trial. I got, I was able to move the business forward quite a bit in that time. But I needed to know if it was going to work for me, because it's not a system that works for everybody. Believe me, it can also be a crutch, because it's supposed to help you develop those relationships and those conversations. But if you are not already have a system in place for how to add new contacts, the most vital thing that you can do for your business, you're going to get stagnant in Teamsy, basically. So I encourage you guys, whatever you do, have a system, know how to do, each of these things, know how to invite, know how to follow up with people, know how to add new contacts before you decide on a system. You need to know the structure behind it. This is just to help you stay organized. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will talk to you all later. Bye.